Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Just getting set up here for a moment. Just give me a minute here. I'm going to be talking today some about personal authorship and how that sort of is an opportunity for people today. But let me just make sure a few things are set up here okay. You can let me know if the the music's coming through okay, if it's too loud. Let's see. You can always shoot me a message on the chat, on YouTube, on Twitch, and I can respond, we can chat, etc. I'm just getting prepped for a bigger run of having other people on the show here in the future. So I'm lining up some guests. I'm probably gonna have some people in person, which is exciting. So my goal is gonna be that I'm gonna be hanging out in person with a bunch of different creators and artists. Every time you turn on the stream, it's gonna be somebody new, which is exciting, fun. Let me see. Give me one more sec. If anyone wants to trickle in. Okay, let's see. So, and message me if you think music's good, too loud, not loud enough. But today, I'm gonna be sharing some thoughts just on personal authorship, because I think we're at this really interesting time right now where, and it's been happening for a long time, but really, for the first time ever, anybody can publish anything on any channel, and networks have been built at scale to support anybody finding your work across the web, and you being able to, what I would say is asynchronously connect with and build trust with and meet other people just through producing content. And that's something that's really interesting and new. That I don't think people have fully sort of grokked yet, which is that you can publish a piece of media today, and not only will people across the world be able to read that, get to know you through that piece of writing or content that you create, but also people in the future can consume that and get introduced to you and your work. So the big opportunity today for artists, for entrepreneurs, for creators is to continue to build this sort of evergreen and growing library of media that other people can stumble upon to get introduced to you and your work. And that's really exciting. There's obviously a lot of different channels that people can do that through. There's, Twitch, like here on Livestream. There's YouTube, there's Medium, Twitter, etc. And you can think of all these different networks sort of like pre-built little gardens or cities, and they tend to curate a certain type of person. They tend to curate a certain type of conversation. And that means that not only can you create media that has leverage, that asynchronously can find other people. I think the ideas find the people don't find the ideas, but it allows other people to consume and get to know you in networks that are already being built for you. So when something like Vine comes out, there's this natural pull and gravitation of a certain type of creator to start consuming that type of content. And so Vine as a network has done a lot of heavy lifting for you in terms of finding the crowd that might resonate with your work. Twitch is very different. Obviously, Twitch is very geared towards gamers, and therefore, if you're a gamer, you have this network that you can tap into and create content on that already has the type of people that you're hoping will find your work are already starting to gather in that network and based on the rules of that network. And that's something that's, I think, again, underappreciated, that there are these pools happening. We're moving to a phase of the web that's very decentralized, meaning instead of having every conversation happening in one giant pool like Facebook, which is where everything was happening, now we're getting to this decentralized web, which is conversations happening in private subgroups, essentially scattered across the internet. And there's a link here that I want to share in the chat, which is called, and actually let me pull it up on screen here too. One moment. Which is the dark forest view of the internet, which basically is starting to claim that there's this great science fiction book called The Three Body Problem, which is by a Chinese author, talking about the universe and talking about why it is the case that we've never found aliens before, and there's such a high probability of having extraterrestrial life. Why is it that we've never been able to contact them? Why has nobody ever contacted us before? And the book is essentially about how everybody's sort of in their own little worlds. Like you've got species distributed across the universe, but they're contained to these planets. And the web is starting to sort of head in that direction, where it used to be a very centralized, everybody's on Facebook having a conversation, everybody's on Twitter having a conversation. Whereas today, it's a little bit different. We're starting to see private communities really pop up and begin to sort of create their little bubbles. And these communities, they're sort of happening naturally on major networks. So Twitter is a great example of a network where private groups pop up, or they're in public, but they're effectively talking like they're in their own corner of Twitter. So finance Twitter is a great example of that. Crypto Twitter is a great example of that. Political Twitter is a great example of that. Conversations are, they're starting to happen in these silos, and more applications are being built to decentralize conversations on the web. So this piece is really about how the internet is going to decentralize to shift into these private communities and private conversations. And there's a good and bad side of that, and I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. Speaking of, I'm posting to Twitter. So the dark forest theory of the internet is that it's going to be harder to navigate the where to go to have a conversation with people like you, or maybe in some ways it's going to be easier to figure out where to go. But the problem is that's going to create sort of a bigger filter bubble issue, because by the nature of these mini networks, whether it's on SMS app or it's through a bigger app, the nature is going to be that they're a little bit of walled gardens. And I think we're seeing that a little bit with Discord is a good example of a network that is starting to sort of pull people away into private groups. Obviously, Slack started as a business tool, but is becoming a bit more social. People are starting to create private Slack groups. You've got walled email newsletters, which are popping up and becoming popular as well. And those are kind of these little walled gardens. So we're at this cross section of really two sort of important ideas, in my opinion. The first is this idea of personal authorship, which means you can create content, you can create ideas. Instead of having to meet people one by one, you can share them through pre-built networks that have their own distribution channels that let the ideas find people who they might resonate with. So you can kind of do your marketing at scale asynchronously, and you can do it even into the future. So something you create today, someone can find a year from now, an old blog post, get to know you, hire you because of that, or get in contact because of that. And so networking, really one-to-one networking, is very valuable sort of at the end state, but it's less so as a foundation. So I think as a foundation, because of the ability that anyone has to publish through these massive distribution networks like Twitter, like Medium, Facebook groups, etc., really the foundation of your quote-unquote networking should be distributing ideas, because ideas scale and because ideas can do the work for you without you having to be there necessarily having that conversation. So that's happening, but the problem that's sort of arriving a little bit, which I like this post on the dark forest theory of the internet, is that rather than having these giant networks where there's these huge conversations happening, like Twitter, where it's just like a huge forest, things are going to start getting more siloed. So you're seeing these private groups come up, you're seeing these private newsletters come up, and that means it's going to be harder to break into the right filtered communities to distribute these ideas. So yes, anybody can publish, but now there's walls being put up. Now there's a newsletter that you have to pay for. Now there's a community you have to pay for. And I think there's a good and bad argument to be had about this. I think there's a benefit and an issue sort of here. I think the benefit is that these communities will be even more built for a specific subgroup of people. And that's really exciting because it means that you can target people even better. It used to be that advertising was how you got very specific in how you targeted someone. And the Facebook graph was this beautiful marketing and advertising machine that let you just totally pinpoint the right person to speak to with an ad. And that's the case still. But if you can actually, quote unquote, buy your way into these sort of mini communities that are gated and curated with a very specific type of person, you get even better sort of precise marketing to the type of people that you want to reach. So in my opinion, it's better to align with the right mini communities than it is to try to reach scale on a major network, or even potentially using advertising. So the future of where marketing is going is still, you want to use the leverage that's available through personal authorship, meaning you want to make sure that you're using ideas that can scale, as Seth Godin says, horizontally through a network, because that's the way that an idea spreads. But to get to the right little pools of networks, there's all these different pools everywhere now. Instead of one giant lake, there's just these little puddles everywhere that are ultra curated, that are private Facebook groups, that are private Slack groups, that are private newsletters, that are Discord channels. The role of the marketer is going to be aligning with these pre-built, really niche conversations and finding a way to add value, finding a way to enter that conversation in a really natural way. So the people who run these networks are going to have a lot of distribution power because they're going to be the gatekeeper for what gets posted. So previously we had this giant gatekeeper effect. We had Facebook with censorship and Twitter with censorship, which is they're setting the algorithms and the rules for everyone on the network. Well, everyone's saying we're sick of that, so we're going to build our own little communities. We're going to build our own little networks. We're going to use Discord. We're going to use Telegram. We're going to use whatever app of the day. But now there's another gatekeeper. There's decentralized gatekeepers. There's thousands of gatekeepers. There's all these people who manage these subgroups. And if you're a brand that wants to enter those spaces, you're going to have to do it in a very intelligent way. And you're going to have to do it in a very authentic way because, on TV, the viewership is so wide. You're going to see a commercial for diapers right after a commercial for razors, right after a commercial for apple juice, whatever it is, Taco Bell. Now, if you're trying to enter a community and you're Taco Bell, but the community is about fintech, it's like, what's the connection there? If I'm the manager of this network, why would I want to enter? Why would I want to let you into this gated community to shill tacos when the whole purpose of this community is talking about finance? So brands need to understand that maybe they're not welcome in every single subgroup, but the subgroups they are welcome in, those people will love to hear from them. So if you're Taco Bell, you're in a little bit of a dilemma because obviously you're trying to hit scale, and they're still going to use major mediums. They'll advertise on Hulu, whatever. But let's say you're a small taco shop. Taco Bell's maybe a bad example. If you can find the subgroups that care about cooking, that care about heritage, that care about ingredients or organic, those are the communities that you want to enter. Health and fitness, if maybe you're selling healthy tacos or something. So that's the way forward for brands. For individuals, I don't think it looks too different. I think individuals still are just underrating the power they have when it comes to leveraging ideas through networks at scale and understanding the sort of long tail effect of this content you create. So if you're a freelancer, if you're a consultant, you create content that someone might find next year. So you created it yesterday. Next year, someone finds you and they book you because of that. And that's extremely powerful. One, because you can build a foundation. It means, yes, you're constantly creating, sure, but there are pieces that you create that might last you a long time. It's just powerful, and it's powerful because it's international, and it's across time zones. It's people getting consulting gigs across the world because they were found through a network. So that's most of my spiel today. There's some other links I want to surf through here. I'm going to take a second though, and it's going to be a shorter stream today. Like I said, I'm going to be hosting some other people through the stream here pretty soon. The idea is having different artists and creators hop on. It'll be a different scene each time. I'll make sure that the video is posted afterwards, since I know everyone can't sync at the same time. It's kind of tough to get on the same schedule. Better to have people being able to watch on their own time after the fact. I know it's the same thing here. Yeah, I'm going to chill for a sec. Then I'm going to run through some links. And that's going to be it for this kind of co-working, no agenda Friday. I'll pull up something a little more visually appealing for you. Okay, let's discuss some links. I think these tie in pretty well. Drop the volume. Good Views, competitor to Rotten Tomatoes. A little bit more focused on TV and just very clean to get what you need, which I love. Short lists, top 5. They have a daily email. I just like how simple it is. And you know what's interesting about what they're doing is they're tracking engagement, which to tie it back some to what we were discussing earlier. Ideas spread horizontally, so they're attempting to track sort of real buzz, assuming there's no bots or anything like that are pumping some of these television shows. But it's funny to kind of think about just what people are talking about too. I mean, Game of Thrones has been so topical. I mean, Grey's Anatomy's like, it's been going on forever. Still huge. Lucifer, I've never heard of. You know, I don't even know what network this is on. Let's see. I'll give you these nice little graphs. Fox. So let's see. Number 1 show is HBO. Number 2 is Fox. Number 3 is TV. Let's see what Dead to Me is on. Netflix. Stranger Things is Netflix. So you're already seeing this kind of this shift to other shows that cable's definitely already starting to feel it a little bit. So Good Views TV. Digging this. Instead of Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to chat this as well for anyone who's watching now or later. I'm going to start using this for searching what type of shows to watch. Pretty excited about this. I'm going to do 3 links today, so pretty chill. So Far Sounds does intimate gigs, meaning anyone can book a musician to come play at their space. And famous musicians are doing it, like Leon Bridges, Bastille. And it's really cool because you can just tell here it's like very much everyone super chill. And I think this is a trend a little bit that we're going to start seeing. We had like this whole TED Talk kind of movement, you know, and like these very formal kind of conferences. I think this is what people are sort of wanting now, is like chill, and the type of experience that is like, people don't want to leave home anymore. They want to stay at home and Netflix and chill. So like, if you're going to go do something, let's not make it formal. Let's not make it something where we have to like dress up and compete. So I think we're going to see more stuff like this. I love this. I haven't been before. You can perform, you can host. Famous people are doing it. I think it's kind of pop-up style, so they let you know pretty close to the date of the concert. Love it. Interesting community to follow. So Far Sounds, to see if they're in your area. Let's see for the last app that I want to share. I haven't used this one, but it's called Clocky, and it just helps you track your time. It's something I'm trying to be a little bit better about. It looks like it's very intuitive. Let's see if we can watch this video. I'll turn off the sound so you don't have to listen. I'll skip through it here a little bit, but rule-based automatic time tracking. So it's is for Mac. Yeah, digging this. You start working, you add your tasks, you start working. And it sort of tracks it by, that's what I thought was really interesting, is it sort of tracks it by the item. Yeah, great for if you are a freelancer with billable hours. I'd say it's probably ideal for just tracking. And then you can send your client like this beautiful overview of everything you did. Cool. So far sounds clocky. Good Views TV. And today's a shorter stream. Got a busy Friday. Good hanging out as always. If you're watching this afterward, now you know what I mean about asynchronous leverage with media. Hello from the past. And I'll do one more track here. And then I'll be off the stream. Thanks for hanging.